And clearly there's a pressure on all governments to increase defence spending. And certainly that's been something Donald Trump's been going on about a lot. He also had an interesting announcement this week about a new fleet of so-called Trump-class battleships. What did you make of that?
So look, the president's inclination is correct here. We do need to invest more in the Navy, and in particularly in Navy shipbuilding and the maritime industrial base. But his implementation plan is absolutely wrong. Trying to build large battleships, large surface combatants called battleships, about 30,000 tons, 3 times the size of a U.S. or Australian destroyer, is the wrong answer. When we're fighting China tactically, we need to actually distribute our fleet, distribute our sensors, our Aegis radars, our missile systems, our vertical launch systems into multiple ships, not concentrate them in one ship that's an easy target for the Chinese. So this is tactically the wrong thing. And then fiscally, these will get out of control fast. They'll go from 5 to 10 billion very quickly with what's called non-recurring engineering costs.
Yeah, and how tough is it for the US Armed Forces right now? There's a lot of sort of competing requests and needs. We've got obviously the war on drugs against Venezuela as well happening, and attacks on small boats in the Caribbean. Is that going to be difficult? And from your experience, how much do different White House administrations through the years listen to the tactical advice from their military?
So look, the extension, using forces where they're not normally planned for, is always burns what you call your future readiness, your ability to respond in the future to a crisis, say with China in the Western Pacific. So after October 7th, we increased our number of forces in the Middle East dramatically, naval and aviation and Army air defense. As a result, all of those things are kind of an extremis for 1 to 2 years from now. Now, following it back up, just as that commitment ends in the Middle East, following it back up with commitments in the Caribbean, where we normally have 1 or 2 small surface combatants, to now have a carrier strike group, 8 or 9 destroyers, 3 or 4 amphibious ships permanently on deploy. We basically have something slightly larger than the whole Australian Navy permanently stationed in the Caribbean right now. That's going to burn our readiness for future deployments in the Western Pacific.
Interesting stuff. US Navy Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery, appreciate your insight this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.